Hello, my name is Deborah Anderson, and this is my show, The Second Act Life After Sports. And I have Michael Montgomery, who is a defensive end for the Green Bay Packers. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, my name is Michael Montgomery. I'm a former NFL player with the Green Bay Packers, Navarro College Hall of Famer from a small town in East Texas. I moved around a lot because my mother was a basketball coach, so I spent a lot of time in East Texas, Carthage, Nacogdoches, and I spent my last 2 years at Center High School, where my athletic career started to kick off and land me to Navarro College for 2 years, and then Texas A&M for the following 2 years. And then I went on to play for the Green Bay Packers for 5. I played another year in the CFL in Canada and another year in XFL with Las Vegas Locomotives.
What were you like as a kid?
I was whatever you imagine a kid, a boy was. I was all that. I remember just all I wanted to do was just go outside and play.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up, moving around. I grew up, mostly like by myself a lot. So I had a big imagination.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like run around bare feet, in the yard, with a stick and a Power Ranger, and my imagination would just go all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I would climb trees. I thought I was Spider-Man, so I would be in trees, flipping, jumping off the house onto a trampoline, swinging from the yard, from the that little hanger outside, the
Mm-hmm.
little metal hangers. I was swinging across. So anything that kids would do, I'd done it. So that's how how I grew up when I was young.
Mm-hmm. So how did you choose basketball and football to play?
My mother was a Hall of Fame basketball player, and I saw how the sport created avenues for her to travel, see the world. She was a Hall of Fame basketball player. She met the president. She played in the Olympics, Pan American Games, and she had to go so many places. And I saw how sports affected her. She came from a little small town, 350 people, Emerson,
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, and coming from that small of a town to meet the president, just playing a kid's sport game, I was all for it. So basketball, football was all in for me.
Which player in the NBA do you think mirrors your game if you had chosen to go to the NBA?
Shaquille O'Neal or Zion Williams. I was kind of like we have similar body type.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zion Williams kind of I remember he mirrors my game. I was more of an inside outside guy.
Mm-hmm.
Really clashed the offensive rebounds. I played with a lot of force and a lot of emotions and intensity. So I think those two guys kind of like best describe how I was on the basketball court.
Do you think having a Hall of Fame mother gave you an edge in any way?
No, it gave me pressure, a lot of pressure. It didn't give me an edge at all, because when I told kids, the coach, my mom was a Hall of Famer, it didn't mean nothing. They were like, all right, she's a Hall of Famer, but what about you? So
Right.
It really didn't give me no edge at all. It was just it sounded good on a resume, but it really didn't give me no edge. It just gave me more of a target, because they see, does the apple fall far from the tree? So it really didn't give me an edge. It just made me work harder, because I understand, what sports can do for me. So it just gave me a little more motivation to go out there and accomplish things.
You didn't start playing football until junior high schools. How were you able to become a professional level athlete with a shorter timeline than others?
Just listen to my coaches. I always played hard. That was one thing, that nobody didn't have to tell me what to do on
Mm-hmm.
that aspect. I knew, if I played hard and I played with effort every play, you know, I know the coaching techniques would take toll. So I knew, if I missed a play, or I knew my effort was going to get me noticed on tape versus playing versus
Mm-hmm.
my accolades. So I just tried to focus on playing hard every play, and I think that's what showed more so than anything was my effort.
Mm-hmm. I know you've talked about the strategy of just trying to get your stats up. Can you speak to that?
When I started to take football serious, I understood there was a method in the madness. I
Mm-hmm.
knew guys wasn't just when they had dreams, they just figured, if I put, I always knew there was a stats and the statistics of way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
When I started getting serious about football, especially a defensive line in my position, I looked up the career highlights of professional athletes and what they done in high school and what they done in college. And
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a science of success. So I understood, if they get this amount of numbers, stats, they get this amount of tackles, this amount of sacks, this amount of tackle for losses, they get certain accolades, especially at a big college, they would have a better chance of getting notes in the NFL. So
Mm-hmm.
when I started taking it serious in high school, I knew that, I had a number in my head. Like I always target myself, I get over 100 tackles. I knew that was going to give me notice. If I
Mm-hmm.
get over 10 sacks, that was going to give me notice. If I get first team all Big 12, I mean, I'm not necessarily, mainly focusing on that, but just trying to play hard and show that I'm the best player in the conference. So when I was in high school, I would tell everybody I was going to get these stats and go to the league, and they would laugh at me
Mm-hmm.
because nobody ain't went to the league in a while from my school. So I was like, look, man, there's a science, man. If I produce the same way I produced all through high school, junior college, I knew I was gonna get a shot, at least
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity, and that's the thing I wanted most than anything. It's just the opportunity, because I
Yeah.
know once I have an opportunity to play, I knew um, the ability, my performance would speak louder than anything. So I just knew it was a blueprint. There's always a blueprint. Everybody's done everything you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the balance of good work ethic and talent, and then the coaching you receive to play at a high level?
I think it goes hand in hand because I see so many guys, they have talent,
Mm-hmm.
but if they don't have the natural coaching, I say football IQ,
Mm-hmm.
because when I got in the league, the NFL, there was a guy who was taller than me, faster than me, stronger than me, had long dreads. He looked like Julius Peppers 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I'm not going to make the team over this guy. But after watching him play and understand, he would run himself out the play. He didn't understand block recognition,
Mm-hmm.
run the pass recognition when he's playing against an offensive lineman. So a football IQ plays a big part,
Yeah.
and that's not only just playing the game, but studying the game. And you just can't have talent when you're trying to be successful in football. You have to have IQ. You have to understand, you know, what type of offense you're playing against, what type of offensive lineman you're playing against, what keys are you getting off before a run, or what
Mm-hmm.
pass. So it gets more sound and more detailed when you're playing the game, and that's
Yeah.
what separates your talent versus hard work ethics.
Yeah, I played 4 years varsity basketball, and one of my best friends, Alicia Harbor, she was our center, and she was maybe my height, but like I'm 5'9", and she was like 5'8", 5'9", but she could always get a rebound over the big girls because big people don't be jumping sometimes, like, or at least
Yeah,
big girls don't be jumping, and so she had perfect timing, so she could get it would be funny because she would get 3 rebounds in a row, but she would piss herself off from not making the
yeah,
shot.
yeah, and a lot of things about it. Um, especially in basketball,
Mhm.
especially getting rebounds is about positioning.
Yeah.
Like if you position yourself and you learn how to stand to box out,
Mhm.
you can create space to get rebounds. Because I
Yeah.
did I did those moves all the time. Like Angela Reese, I was watching
Mhm.
her playing the championship game, and there was a move I always did when I was in high school and college that you want to get inside of the guy who's trying to box you out, so
Right.
you can have an opportunity to get a offensive rebound. So it's all about positioning and using your body because people don't box out no more like
Right.
they used to, and
Mhm.
that's the big main thing of understanding how to rebound and also understanding the science of a basketball. Because
Mhm.
I read in Dennis Rodman, he would watch the ball spin before or in warmups. He wouldn't do layups. He would just rebound, and he would understand how the ball would bounce off the rim based off how the shot is going. So
Nice.
it's a very science and technique way of understanding how to rebound and position yourself. So you can break things down for a lot when you understand behind the method to the madness.
And to go back to the teaching piece, I feel like, I always had a confidence issue. That's why I didn't, play at a higher level than high school. But also, when I used to play AAU, because I was I was talented, so I always played up a year. But one of my AAU coaches, he like retired after, his, certain players were done. And I'm like, dang, I don't get the opportunity. And then in high school, my coach, and particularly my senior year, concentrated more on the juniors than me. So it just was like I could see how the benefit of having that coaching in addition to the talent would have put me in a different place.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Like, having somebody who pour into you and believe in you, that goes a long way. And
Yeah.
especially in the beginning, when you're starting off. Because, I didn't see it, but one of my D
Mhm.
line coaches, Coach Billy Ferris, he said, hey man, you got an opportunity to be in the league, if you play like this, continue to play like this. And,
Yeah.
I thought it was crazy. And then, I thought it was crazy. But I told him, man, I ain't going to the NFL. I'm going to NBA. But
Where
he said, keep playing, and things just naturally progressed.
young people hyper focus on the skills in the sport that they choose, but what is the importance of grades?
The importance of grades. If you want to go to, you can't play sports without passing your classes. That's number
Mhm.
one. So if you know you want to play sports, you got to make good grade. You got to make good grades. And if you want to go to a big Division 1 school, you got to have big Division 1 grades. So that's
Mhm.
one thing I learned from my experience. I was a person who, my mother was a coach and
Mhm.
teacher, and she, in high school, I kind of got like a big head. Because my name was being called all the time. Every week I was getting the accolade.
Mhm.
And my mother would tell me, son, you need to get your grades up. And I'm like, Mom, man, I'm a all state in football and basketball, MVP, defensive MVP, everything. So I was like, if they want me, they gonna do what it takes to get me. But letting me know that, that wasn't the case.
Mhm.
And your grades matter, your GPA, your SAT score, your ACT scores. Those matter when you're trying to get to a big Division 1 school.
Mhm.
And I can say, high school was great, but ain't nothing like that college experience.
Yeah.
And not only that, that college experience at a big college where you have a lot of resources. Not knocking any other D2 or D3 or black college, but
Yeah.
if you go to a big school, with a lot of resources that can aid you, that's makes it way better, financially and livable. But
Mhm.
I was the type of person, I just prioritize accolades over academics. But fortunately, I went to Navarro Junior College where they stressed academics
Mhm.
and they stressed and what they did, they gave me a one sheet of paper
Mhm.
and it just showed what the classes I need to take, what do I need to do, and made my life just so much easier just to focus on football and focus on taking these classes and making them be or better.
Hmm.
So the, Navarro College, they really helped me get academically eligible.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that as kids we think we know better than the adults or the experts.
Yeah, I know. And my mother, she's done everything I've done, and she keeps telling me. I'm like, Ma, I see what they do in the movie program. I see how they be paying those players. If they want me, they just make some switches at school with my grades to get me to go there.
Hmm.
But fortunately, it all worked out.
Yeah. What is the importance of character throughout your sports career?
Character, it means a lot because number one, not only just playing football, it's just dependable. Dependable that you're gonna be where you're supposed to be, and you're gonna be doing what you supposed to be doing, and
Hmm.
not what you're supposed to be doing. So character means a lot. I've seen guys come in, get caught smoking weed, doing
Hmm.
drugs, get kicked out, and didn't have a chance to play. So character means a lot. Guys coming late for curfew and losing their chance, the opportunity to play. So character means a lot, especially how high you go.
Hmm.
Um, and they always saying the best player. There was somebody better than Michael Jordan, but he didn't have a
Hmm.
chance to prove himself because he messed up his opportunity by doing drugs or violence or or stuff like that. So character means a lot. Just being accountable.
Yeah. Can you talk about not making football or whichever sport you play too big or like bigger than it has to be?
I was just saying, like, just to focus on what you can control.
Hmm.
Being in the NFL, being a rookie in the NFL, especially a guy who low draft pick, free agent. You can't control what out other players, other people in your position, the coaches, factors. You can't control that. All you can control is your job is and when you're in and making the most out of your opportunities. Because I was a 6th round pick,
Hmm.
and if anybody knows, those between fifth and down, fifth, sixth, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh free agents. Those guys on the cutting block. And you really gotta, you're not guaranteed, you have more stake in the game if you get drafted higher. But
Yeah.
when you're on that lower tier, you really gotta earn your spot and you really gotta take somebody's position. Uh, and, very, I was balling in the preseason and training camp, but I was still nervous
Yeah.
because just the sake of being nervous and new,
Hmm.
and if I when it went back, I would just told myself just focus on what I'm doing. As long as I'm playing good, I'm playing. I'm putting good tape on film.
Hmm.
That's the most I can ask for, and I'm getting the opportunity. So just trying to make the game more singular, more focused on what I'm doing, trying to do the right things on and off the court to best secure yourself a position on the team.
Yeah. I know when I saw a clip when Deion Sanders was at Jackson State where he was talking about, as they travel, you might can't do the same things you used to do. You can't because some people might set you up or like what can you speak to? Like sometimes you want to hang out in certain places, but you have a different name. Whether you at college or or pro level, like you can't be in some rooms that you want to be in. So what can you say to that?
Yeah, just being knowledgeable of what you're doing, where you're at, and who you're with, because you know, in the day of social media and clout chasing, people will say and do things just to get a rise out of you, just to
Hmm.
get you on camera, or get you to hit them so they can sue you, or
Hmm.
so in today's era, you really got to be cautious of who your friends are. Cautious of who are close to you, because people are out. Unfortunately, there are people are out to just get a rise and get clout from you, either suing you, or just get something like some likes on the Instagram, just to get a rise out of you. So I totally agree with that. Your name and who you are is more valuable than anything. Because at the end of the day, you might have a bunch of money, you might not don't have a bunch of money, but your name, especially as an athlete, is gonna resonate with a lot of people, especially in the news and the media. Because if you get into a fight at a bar, they're not going to mention the guy, even if you wasn't in the wrong. They're going to mention your name in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Even the dude might have hit you for no reason, and you hit him back, and you beat him up, or something like that. They're going to put your name in there. And they're going to say random, because their name is going to be highlighted because it's clickbait.
Yeah.
But just like I said, just being conscious of who you with. And one thing, LeBron James, man, I give him credit all the time. Like, the people he grew up with, he empowered, they're all doing great things, man. And I'm just so happy to see, LeBron and his group are doing great things in the business world.
Yeah, and I feel like resisting those people is big mentally. And to go back to like sports, I know when we would play, like, we were good, but then there's, some teams that were better than us, and it was the difference between, playing the hood team, which is what they was hella talented, or playing the white girls, where they just was fundamental, but also they would try to get in your head. And sometimes I'll try to tell some of my teammates, like, they doing this on purpose. Like, they trying to get in your head to throw it off. So can you talk to athletes about the strategy that some people have to get in your head and to be aware of that and not succumb to it?
Yeah, a case in point, Dylan Brooks and LeBron James. I mean, Dylan Brooks, everybody's talking about how he's trash, and no, he's not trash. He's an NBA player, a starter on the NBA player, a 3-and-D guy. He's a great player, and everybody was talking about how he was trying to bait LeBron James out of their game plan. He knew if he brung LeBron James to force to play a one-on-one game versus a team game, they can have a better shot of beating the Lakers, because LeBron he's not a one-on-one player. He's a guy. I always see his game like a Magic Johnson, but on steroids when it comes to offense. But and LeBron James did not jump into it, because he understood, like, he's trying to take him away from his game. So, you just got to be focused on what you're doing and focus on how you can play in the team aspect of it. Because, if you like me, if I tried to focus on numbers, I always had a bad game. But if I just focus on just playing hard every play and playing with intensity, I always had really good numbers. So I just tried to focus on just what I can do and how I can motivate others.
Yeah. Can you talk about what you call the turning point moment?
The turning point moment was, I guess there was two. There was a time where my mother, she got hurt at her job. I was in college. She got hurt at her job, and she couldn't work. And my nephew was hurt. He broke his shoulder. Mom had busted her back trying to break up a fight, and hurt her back, so she couldn't work. And there was a time where they came and saw me play, and they was both in casts. And my nephew was in a cast, my mom was on it in a neck cast, and I understood, like, that moment was the turning point where I knew I had to make it so I could help them get them out of the situation they're in financially.
Mhm.
My nephew, he grew up, 5 other brothers and sisters, single parent, in Dallas, and I know they didn't have all the, I mean, necessary things to be successful, and I know, I want to make it in the league, adopt him, and help my mother get out of a financial situation with
Mhm.
her job. So that was a turning point where I just knew I just had to make it.
Mhm.
Um, and another one was, when you know, was in when I was in the NFL, and the first day, and I knew, I was just screaming, I'm not going home, and it was the first day of practice, and everybody was just like, "Man, what's wrong with this kid?" But me not going home was like a statement, a battle cry of, I'm not losing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make this team,
Mhm.
to help my family. Um, so those were like turning point moments that I wanted to do and put my family in a better position because I love watching the NFL draft. It's
Mhm.
one of like my highlights of that's like one of my favorite things to do
Mhm.
because it's not only changing the players' lives, but it's changing their families' lives.
Mhm.
Elevating them and putting them in so much situations, resources that could help their family. So I knew that me making the team would help
Mhm.
my family, and that was just a turning point moment where I just knew I had to make things happen regardless.
Yeah, I got to go to the NFL draft in Chicago, and we were in the nosebleeds at first, but then once people start to leave, they move you up. So I got to go to the second or third row.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's dope. That's dope. I'm gonna talk to the Packers, see if I can go. I'm gonna say, I like, look, man, I just want to come out and announce like the 6th round pick. That'd be dope. I'm gonna call and see if I can make that happen because I
Yeah,
see it. I was like, look, whatever round, low round, I don't care. I just want to
yeah,
just be there and amidst of the atmosphere. So,
yeah. And can you also speak? Because I know you mentioned the turning point of when you knew you could actually make it to the NFL. When was that?
when I actually can make it is when it was a game where I started off slow my senior year in production, but
Mhm.
then it started to pick up a lot when it started to develop on. And I think that when the moment I saw that I could be in the NFL when my numbers started looking right
Mhm.
was when I got an interception and against Iowa State,
Mhm.
and I was returning it back, and I was like, man, I was thinking like, man, this is exactly what the highlights look on the NFL draft when they see D linemen. They show sacks, they show tackles for losses, they show D linemen getting interceptions. So
Mhm.
when I got that, that was like, oh yeah, my numbers are coming together,
Mhm.
and this is gonna really highlight me. So that was a moment where I saw like I have a great shot at getting to the NFL because I was having a terrible game
Mhm.
number wise, but when I got that interception, that kind of like solidified like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a shot.
Yeah. Can you tell us what is Wolf Parkinson White syndrome?
Wolf Parkinson White syndrome is a congenital heart disease at birth. I was affected in, and I played through it most of my life.
Mhm.
Um, and when you have like you know episode, it's normal as any other athletic um, fatigueness, like shortness of breath, lightheadedness, dizziness, heart fluttering. And growing up, I just thought it was just something normal that athletes go through. And growing up as a athlete, as a warrior mentality, you know, I really didn't try to complain much or say anything because as athletes, we're trained to be, you know, warriors, never complain, and growing up with it, I could just remember the instance where I had it, where I just tried to push through it.
Mhm.
And there was a thing where almost died from it at Texas A&M.
Mhm.
And when I had the episode uh, where it just wouldn't stop, my
Mhm.
heart was fluttering. Couldn't breathe, and I went unconscious. But thankfully, A&M, the medical staff, David Weir, and the training staff was there to assist me and aid me when I had the issues. Um, and I stress everybody to go get a heart screening. If your
Mhm.
kid is active, and even if he's not playing sports, if he's running, if he runs a sprint, that means he's an athlete. So it doesn't matter if he's playing for the school team or not. If he exercises any type of way, he needs to get screened just to understand that you could fix it. It's manageable if you find out early. Because I
Mhm.
realize like I'm one of the lucky ones because there's a lot of kids who didn't make it, um, and and their parents had to grieve. But
Yeah. Do you know, are the heart screenings, are they like covered by insurance?
I know there's a couple of um, there's some that yes they cover insurance, and also there's a lot of foundations I'm involved with that does heart screenings.
Mhm.
Cody Stevens Foundation, Champions Heart Foundation in Texas, and currently I'm starting my own to get the awareness out and get kids screened because
Mhm.
just to add a peace of mind for the parents because
Yeah.
as parents that's the one thing you know one thing parents think about is how healthy is my kid.
Yeah.
Is he safe? Is he secure? Is he fed? Is health? So just answering one of those questions that could give a parents peace of mind to go out there and live a longevity life.
Yeah.
So
When you speak about the push through warrior mentality, I remember seeing a interview with like Spice Adams where he was talking about one time, like he was trying to tell the people that he was hurt because he's like his like arm, it was like it went up like a window shade, like one of his tendons, and he just was playing through it. I'm like, oh Jesus!
yeah, it's serious, man. That warrior mentality. I'm writing a book right now, and I talked about that warrior, the ultimate warrior, and the mindset you have to be to make it. I talk
Mhm.
because it's you got to push yourself to a point that pain doesn't even affect you.
Yeah.
So and it's up to our parents to police our children because especially as kids we have to stop our kids from stopping because they'll run all day without no problems. So it's up to us to police
Hmm.
each other, police our children's health, and make sure they're getting screened, they're getting the proper medical and health checkups.
Yeah. So how were you able to recover so quickly from your heart surgery?
Well, it was a ablation surgery, and it
Okay.
was a thing where they cut a hole through my groin, and there was a
Mhm.
surgical tube that goes up, and they burn the extra vessel. So it
Okay.
wasn't anything uh, strenuous like a
Oh.
knee or a foot
Mhm.
or shoulder.
Mhm.
It was just a surgery where they cut a hole through my leg. So after the surgery through my leg healed, I had to go through, a strenuous 3 to 4 weeks of testing,
Yeah.
EKG testing, um, screening, stress tests, endurance testing, just to make sure, because I had to really work my way back
Mhm.
and be allowed to play back in the team. So I give credit to those coaching staff, the medical staff for giving me an opportunity because they didn't have to,
Mhm.
and but they allow me to just work my way in and and slowly work my way into the rotation when I got back to the team.
Yeah. So, I know you remember you saying in an interview like you didn't really drink in college. What was the reasoning behind that?
Afraid it would make me weak. Um,
Mm.
I saw everybody else was doing, and I just wanted to feel like it would give me a mental edge.
Mhm.
And also, there was my mother was, one of my idols, and I saw she had, all these awards. I want to just emulate her
Mhm.
success. So I made a promise to God, like if I try to live my life like my mother does,
Mhm.
I could emulate her success. So, and my mother told me she didn't drink, she didn't smoke, she didn't do anything. She treated people like she wanted to be treated,
Mhm.
and I just tried to just emulate her down to the T.
Yeah.
So no drinking, no smoking, no not doing anything. So you know, and I had to, face a little ridicule
Mhm.
for it
Yeah.
because I was like a guy. I would put like cranberry juice in there and just make like I'm, just to be in with my friends because I, going back, a lot of my closest friends I had was from sports.
Yeah.
Moving around a lot, I really didn't have that many like close knit friends, but all my friends are close to me is the one I played sports with.
Mhm.
So I always, those was my brothers, and I just wanted to just feel in tune. So I just wanted to just stay away from all that stuff because I'm afraid it
Yeah.
would make me weak.
Mhm.
And I had a promise to God that I would live my life like my mother did to be
Mhm.
successful.
Nice. Um, why was it important for you to go back and finish your degree once you retired from the NFL?
It was important because I didn't have a clue on what I wanted to do, and I knew going back to school and finish my degree was a starting point.
Mhm.
It would give me a little more guide to understand what I want to do. So, going back to school was very important. Getting my degree, and I knew that would set me up for other things. So
Mhm.
I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew it was at A&M.
Mhm. You had them choose a major for you when you went to Texas A&M. Do you have any advice for athletes as far as how seriously they should take choosing their major, or do you feel just getting that degree eventually is important?
I think you should do some research and find a degree that you really enjoy.
Hmm.
That you're passionate about. Me, the only passion I had was playing football,
Yeah.
and I didn't care what degree. I told them to pick me a degree. I didn't
Hmm.
care about anything.
Hmm.
Even the academic advisor, he was like, "What you want to get?" I was like, "Good job." Yeah, I didn't come here to get a degree, but wink, wink. He like, "What?" And they're like, "No, man, you gotta pick something." I'm like, I don't know, pick something for me.
Yeah.
I came here to play football, not
Right.
go to school. But
Mhm.
I think if I would have reversed everything, I think just get something that you're passionate in.
Yeah.
Me, I love film.
Hmm.
Um, I love business, accounting,
Hmm.
um, engineering. So I would say if when you go to school, figure out a thing that you enjoy doing that
Hmm.
you would do if you're not in school. So
Yeah.
make a list of your hobbies and just write out little jobs that correlate to that list of your hobbies. So,
Yeah.
but I think it's very important to have that serious conversation before you go to college so you can understand, what you can, what it'll save you time and it'll save you a lot of money, especially if you're paying out of pocket
Yeah.
for a college degree. So,
Yeah, I remember seeing one of those ESPN 30 for 30s where dudes was like, I don't even know what my major was, like, or general studies, or like African American studies. They just had all type of majors.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For real.
As someone who I didn't play at a high level, but I know there's this mentality that you just have to stay so focused to make it to a pro level. Do you
Mhm.
think do you think it's possible to, be focused and have this, passion where you can choose a major that you want? Like, is it possible to have both, or because I know a lot of athletes, they just like one track mind. So do you think it's
Mm.
possible to have, even if you have it in the back of your head what you might want to do, do you think that's possible?
I think it's possible.
Mhm.
How things are now, like everything is so everything is so social media, the times, everybody could do more than one thing.
Mhm.
Play sports, be focused, and you can and like learn up on your passion project.
Yeah.
I think it's like a healthy balance because uh me, I was just all about just making it and
Yeah.
making it. And once I made it, every year I was just focused on making it because sports in general, especially football, is a
Yeah.
prove me type of mentality, and you got to prove it every day. But I think for me, it would have been like because I put a lot of stress on myself, and I
Mhm.
know that me having another outlet would would help uh, that stress level.
Yeah.
Um, just just to learn up on and have hobbies because right now you see guys having businesses when they're
Mhm.
playing ball, their own clothing brand, their own real estate. So it's
Mhm.
very, and they could do it in the summer. So
Yeah.
it's very possible to do more than one thing.
You had to figure out what you wanted to do after retiring. What steps did you take to figure out how, you got into real estate, podcasting, acting. Like, what steps, I know the degree was your first step, but like, what steps did you take to figure out you wanted to get into real estate?
I just wrote down a list. I wrote down a list of stuff I liked
Mhm.
and reached out to people I know who's doing, similar jobs. Like
Mhm.
friend of mine, Terrence Murphy, he was doing real estate, and I saw how flexible his lifestyle was, and you can go out and make money, and um, and so I dove into that, and because I understood, trying coaching was a little more political in
Mhm.
a sense, especially in college, and I didn't. That was one thing I didn't. I just didn't like somebody over me,
Mhm.
you know, making decisions on who they should hire based on who they like.
Yeah.
So even if the guy is more qualified, so I,
Mhm.
I I liked it where you can make your own hours, you can work as much as you can, or you can work less as you can, and you can do other things. So that was one thing that kind of turned me on to real estate, and I get
Mhm.
the chance to talk to people, work with people. I can be in and out the office when I want to.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that kind of helped what made what I liked about doing real estate. And just making a list. Just making a list and trying things. Like the NFL, they have a shadow program where you can job shadow. So you
Mhm.
can job shadow what industry that you're into, and
Oh,
that
nice.
gives you an understand of like the full day-to-day operations of the job you're interested in.
Mhm. How did therapy help you in your journey?
It helped a lot because a lot of times, I'm a super private person when it comes
Mhm.
to my feelings and emotions.
Mhm.
And then, coming up, I never talked to anybody, never talked to anybody, anything that's going on. And
Mhm.
I knew it was unhealthy to keep all that in, and it was best to talk to somebody about it. So I just reached out to the NFL program, and they had a therapist talk about me transitioning, me,
Mhm.
you know, um, getting help and just talking things out. Just because a lot of times, your family members, your friends, you know, they're gonna, it's always good to get an unbiased opinion,
Yeah.
somebody that's not related, somebody who's a trained professional who can help, sort things out. With your thoughts?
What transferable skills do you use from your athletic career today?
Uh, I guess that mindset of just to keep going.
Mhm,
Even if you have a bad play,
mhm,
just to look for the next play and just give it all you got.
mhm,
I think that's the mindset that I kind of like think about because understand like in football. I mean, you could play with anger, and
mhm.
you can play like, and I understand like in the business world, you can do that, but you got to do it in a different way because you don't want to come off like you're, playing like you're
Yeah,
playing ball. Yeah. So I think just having the mentality of just keep going.
yeah,
Regardless of what happens. Look for the next play to play hard. So I think that's what I kind of took from my days in football. Even if something don't work out, boom, I keep going. I move on to the next one. Can't let it linger, but just move on to the next one. The resiliency of the game of
yeah.
life.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out how to transfer like some of my sports stuff to my art because I remember a few years ago I went to a court and I was like, I had like a t-shirt that I made and I wanted to shoot footage of like me um making the shot 3-pointers like the two corners, the wings and the top. And it took me really long to do it.
Hmm.
But when I was doing it, I wasn't discouraged. And it was like, I guess because I played basketball since I was like 5, I know I can make, even though I was out of shape and I'm missing, it wasn't
Hmm.
like failure. And I guess I knew I eventually could make it. And so I'm trying to figure out how to transfer that mentality to art because sometimes I get discouraged in my art, but I'm trying to like, how do I not think of it as failure over here, even though I technically am failing? But how can I transfer that to my art where I don't think of it as failure?
Yeah, I say. I mean, write it down
Yeah.
or write down your thoughts and write it down. And also, it's just good to get consult, like
Mhm.
anybody you mentor,
Mhm.
anybody that's meant. If you have a mentor or somebody
Mhm.
that's doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
that could help you sort through your thoughts and help you translate into your art form.
Right.
So, I'll say, seek out somebody else who's done something you've done,
Mhm.
or something like an image or a picture that you can draw from inspiration and put it down. So reach out to somebody
Mhm.
you admire and you look up to, and have a sit down and coffee with them. See if they can give some good advice that can help you translate what you're feeling into your art.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, since I played basketball, I don't really watch the NBA until the playoffs because the game is so offense focused. And I saw you say in an interview that the NFL is kind of operating in the same way. As a defensive player, what are your thoughts on sports and fans not finding the importance of the full game and just one side of the game?
It's sad to see because I love defense. I love
Hmm.
the feeling of just stopping somebody.
Yeah.
And the off football is getting more scoring, more
Hmm.
quarterback centric because they're normally the face of the franchise,
Yeah.
and I remember they had the Aaron Rodgers rule, so
Yeah.
you can't hit them and you can't tackle them or something, even in the ball. So it's just getting more of a pass happy scoring league,
Yeah.
which is sad to see because defense just has the more to do to just stopping somebody. It has more to do imposing um, um, the fear in
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
So that's a part of defense. Having some offense fearing somebody of running a play. But now
Yeah.
they took out the fear of somebody running something because he's not going to get hurt. The receiver's not going to get hit.
Hmm.
So you know, so they took out the fear element
Yeah.
of the football when it comes to defense.
Yeah, it's like that phrase, offense wins games, defense wins championships. It's not even going to exist in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's not even coexistence anymore. I mean, defense, if you get like some turnovers,
Mhm.
Get your hands in the offense is better, but not no, you ain't gonna see like the one game against St. Louis versus New England,
Mhm.
like where it was like 10-9 or something. I thought that was like one of the best football games ever because you saw
Yeah.
Tom Brady, even if he wasn't having a good offensive night, but he
Mhm.
just kept playing. He kept trying. He kept looking for holes in the defense. That showed a true mark of a champion. Even if
Yeah.
he's not having his best offensive game, but how he played throughout the game and how he found a way to win and make
Yeah.
that game-winning drive.
Yeah.
So that was what sold me on him.
I feel like when you know sports, you can just hear that score and be like, "Oh, yeah, that was a good game," because when you hear like basketball, it's like 120 to 110, it's like, that was just offense. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
nobody
yeah, a
stopping
lot of offense.
nobody.
Uh-huh.
Um, for me, as a former basketball player, I've seen conversations around women's sports and men having this thought that women should be the spectators supporting the WNBA and other women's sports, like men can't take an interest in it. So, what can you say about the respect men should have for female athletes, particularly as the son of one?
Well, me, I can't speak for everybody, but I love women's basketball. That's
Mhm.
two of my favorite things, women and basketball. So let's put two and two. I'm there all day. But I think, I love like women in general.
Mhm.
Their sports, they play more together.
Mhm.
They're more together, more fundamentally sound. And way college basketball is turning out with
Yeah.
LSU and I think it was Iowa, and
Caitlin
how
Clark.
that rivalry and how they play. It's women are going to be the more sought out sports to watching starting today, especially in college when
Yeah.
because they play harder, they play more fundamental, and sometimes for me, I get I hate watching especially a basketball game when I don't see fundamentals.
Yeah.
People are not boxing out.
Mhm.
People are just really lackadaisical.
Mhm.
But I think everybody should cherish women's sports,
Mhm.
women athletes, because they're you know I think they're the ones who kind of really originated everything
Mhm.
because it wouldn't be no man without a woman. So I think women's sports is on the genesis, and it's going to make a dramatic change where women are going to be more watched than men.
Yeah, because like when I've seen guys comment like, "Oh, if they could just dunk," and I'm like, you want the spectacle, you don't want the game. Because if you actually like the game, it wouldn't matter. Because
Yeah,
in an NBA game, they ain't dunking that much each game, so you just like the spectacle of it. You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
actually like the core of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you talk about your book, "Heartbeat Away from Destiny," and what are you gonna try to um get communicate through your book?
The heartbeat away from destiny. My premise is, everybody has a potential for greatness, but
Mhm.
oftentimes goes unnoticed and untapped. In my book, I want to give the readers a discovery to unlock their hidden potential and to be great through my powerful insight as a NFL player.
Mhm.
I want to portray inspiring stories to help people feel good about themselves, rediscover themselves, and personal growth to be their best version of themselves.
Mhm.
Because I think my story will relate more to the everyday person versus
Mhm.
that. Because even though I had a small professional career,
Mhm.
the things before that was really impactful. Overcoming a heart disease, playing sports, not playing football early,
Mhm.
dealing with ridicule, dealing with not making a football team,
Mhm.
facing ridicule from my teammates and coaches when I tried to play. So I think my story, my book will be more insightful and understanding, the mindset that you have to be successful. I want to speak to the kids, the people that's in the hospital bed who sick and they feel like they have more life to live.
Yeah.
I wanted to have this book to be there for them, to give them inspiration and motivation to go out there and live their best life. You know, after they get over this their medical issue. So it's possible. So I just want to just go out there and give motivation to people,
Hmm.
and inspire people to go out there and achieve their wildest dreams and be their best version of themselves.
Did that experience like change anything about your thoughts on life? The heart thing, like, or your thought processes about your future at that time?
Yeah, it gave me a whole new leash on life, a new perspective. Understanding that every day is a gift, is a blessing. So, after that, I came with a whole new perspective. I came to the team. It's not about me, but it's about we.
Hmm.
Um, all I wanted to do was just try to motivate my team to be the best, my teammates to be the best version of themselves. You know, best version of themselves because, like I said, my teammates were my brothers. Those are ones
Hmm.
I formed serious relationships with, so friendships with. So I wanted to reflip my mindset to be the best version of myself and just help elevate my teammates in every aspect of their life.
Yeah, and even though your career was like only 5 years, you still had a longer career than the average career.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I saw an interview that you had with a couple of teenagers, and you were speaking to them with the same respect that you would have on ESPN. What is the core of how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and what you want your reputation to be? And what do you hope people say? What do you hope people are saying when you're not in the room?
I mean that really makes a lot. With the career you're going for,
Hmm.
which athletic career you're going for, or any type of job,
Hmm.
what people say when you're not there, it really makes a difference if you get hired or if you get fired.
Yeah.
So, any phase in life, unless you're starting your own business, you know, because everybody has work for somebody in their
Hmm.
point of life. So, you know, the way you treat people and how your impression is very important. And you need to carry yourself as such. Like take yourself in your shoes. Like put yourself in a business owner mentality.
Hmm.
If you're owning a business and somebody comes in and he acts with nonchalant, he's
Hmm.
tardy, he's late, he's treating other people wrong. If you're running a business and it's affecting your business, you would want that person to be around. So
Yeah.
put your mindset in an owner's mentality and act accordingly.
Where can people follow you on social media?
People can follow me. I got a website, michaelmontgomery.org,
Hmm.
and on social media, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I am 96GB
Hmm.
on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Undefeated with Michael Montgomery.
Hmm.
Got a podcast. I'm gonna relaunch that. I have some really nice guests coming up, so that's really the showcase. So people can follow me on all those channels.
Yeah. What do you want to accomplish through your podcast?
I just like talking about the mindset.
Yeah.
Because I have sports people and I had some educations and stuff like that. So I want to accomplish is just to everybody has a story.
Hmm.
Everybody came from something, and they had to overcome adversity to be where they are. And I
Yeah.
just want to just give a sense of motivation to people on how to handle adversity. There was a
Yeah.
guy named Rob Parker, and he was like one of the first black columnists for a New York paper.
Hmm.
And he faced racism. I asked him how did he handle facing racism,
Hmm.
and he said, he could have easily tried to go after the guy who called him an N word on the
Hmm.
newspaper, but he told him to be professional and keep it pushing, and that moved him in a better situation. So
Yeah.
just learning how to handle things in a professional manner
Mhm.
and overcoming adversity to be who they are.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for allowing me to highlight you. I really appreciate it.
No, it's pleasure's on mine.
And thank y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
All right, thank you.